with his speech, Connecting with Chewbacca.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, Connecting with Chewbacca. Firstly, I'd like to start with a kind of a humorous story, an anecdote, if you will. When I was a lot younger, my parents had an infestation of rats in their attic. It's very much like in The Exorcist, where he's scratching in the attic. I don't know what it is, but it was rats running around. So they phoned up the exterminator. And the exterminator came in, and my parents were middle class, very polite, and they said, "Oh, would you like a cup of tea?" He was like, "A cup of tea? Would you like a cup of tea?" Huh? At the time I just strolled in and was like, "It's okay, I've got this. I know how to speak workman." "Alright, mate! We like a cuppa?" He was like, "Alright, fella. Yeah, sure, okay." And that was when I found that actually, even though I was very young and immature, language was a very powerful connector. Over the summer, I had the opportunity to meet one of my mentors, called Marcus Oakley. And he said to me, "Matt, the most powerful thing in the world to connect with someone else is language." At the time I disbelieved it a bit, and it's because I do so much magic and so many visual things that I think actually no, there's something else like eye contact. But for the purpose of the speech, I'm going to go along with him and say why language could be the most powerful thing in connecting. He demonstrated it to me by saying, "Watch this." He then walked away. He said, "What would you like to drink?" I said, "Well, a cup of tea would be nice." Went up to this cafe and he said, "Yep, 1 cup of tea, 1 glass of water." And he built a conversation up with this man. This was a conversation. Ended up, he got my cup of tea for free. He got my cup of coffee for him for free. And ate a sandwich for himself for free. And then later on he said, "Oh, by the way, would you like a chocolate bar?" I said, "Yeah, sure, how much are you?" "Oh, no, it's free." He got all of our lunch for free just by using good language when speaking to the man behind the counter. So he cheered him up, he made his day and said, "You know what, I'll buy you your lunch for you." And that's when I started to think, maybe there is more to it. And I'd like to address why I called this speech Connecting with Chewbacca. It wasn't as if I spoke to Alex and asked him to think of a random word or something like that. I actually chose it because if Chewbacca was in this room right now, and he's a character from Star Wars, if you don't know, who can't speak English because he's a Wookiee, he's a furry animal, how would we connect with him? Sure, we could use eye contact, we could use physical expressions, but how much can we really connect with someone with our language? Imagine consciousness is like one of these cups. Our perception of consciousness is that every time we experience something, it fills up our cup just a little bit. Anything at all, you could see someone fall over on the bus and go, "Ha, how funny." You remember that moment in your cup, if you're German. You then will get more and more moments slowly building up. But then, what happens when we meet someone else with their cup? They're a bit older, so they've got a bigger cup. How do we pour something from this cup into this cup? The main one is language. Because by telling other people what's inside this cup, it can then travel to this cup. So we can't make them relive the same experience, but we can communicate it by using incredibly visual imagery. And in fact, when we think our thoughts, we think of language. And the more we live our lives, the more we start to think of ourselves as the words we use. So, a little thought now about how one person can connect with the persuade someone else with language. There's a psychology study done where someone wanted to use a photocopier, and there's a queue for the photocopier. And there were 2 sections. Section 1 was like this. Hello, I would like to use the photocopier. No, I've been queuing up for ages, you're going to have to wait. That was option 1. Option 2. Hello, I'd like to use the photocopier because I'm in a rush. Interestingly, 65% of the people then said, oh, sure, go right ahead. Just because they said, because. This is an example of how language can incredibly influence someone. Just by saying because, someone is far more likely to go along with whatever you've said. I want to do this because of that. Your reason doesn't even have to be that solid a footing, as long as you're doing it because of that. You go ahead and do it. So, what are my thoughts on this? Is language really the be-all and end-all of everything? Or, in fact, is it maybe a variety of things, such as eye contact, and body language, and presentation? I know for a fact that you could watch a Charlie Chaplin film right now, and you can see a whole story told to you just by using physical expression. But then could it paint the picture as vividly as with language? I know Marcus would disagree with me. He'd probably give me another free sandwich he got with language. But I personally think that it would be the other things combined with language. Language is very important to all of us. And I think we can find that when someone doesn't understand our words, it can be very disheartening. Even though I've spoken to people on the street who give out things of B's, and I've asked them, what's the number one excuse you get for people walking by you? And they say, don't speak English. Funny story I want to leave you on is I went to Spain once, shopping, and in Spain I said, I'd learned a bit of Spanish, gotten it now, but I tried very hard to say, I would like a Spanish omelette, please. In the end, I was given a piece of toast. After speaking very clearly for 5 minutes, I would like a Spanish omelette. That was very infuriating. So, language